see on the screen behind me, we are here tonight to talk specifically to the freshmen and sophomores about what the college application, the college admissions process, or as I like to refer to it sometimes, the college admissions game, what it looks like, and what our role as a school is to help you with that process. There's going to be a great deal of information shared with you tonight, so my encouragement of you is twofold tonight. Number one, listen and take some notes if you have the opportunity, and maybe most importantly, don't be afraid to follow up with us. So if there's some things that you want to know more about, whether it's the transcript, how the GPAs are calculated, what that means here at Prep versus going to another college, all of these things, if you have questions after tonight, please feel free to either follow up, certainly in my office, or we're in great hands with Ivy Harrison, who you're going to hear from tonight, and Marsha Vaughn, who you probably saw on the way as well. We are extremely fortunate to have both Ivy and Marsha on your side as we walk through this path together. It's both an exciting and admittedly at times a nerve-wracking experience, but we have some experts in place to help you with that process. So again, don't be afraid to ask questions tonight. Be sure to follow up as well if questions linger after this evening's program. So with that, again, thank you for being here. Ms. Harrison, it is all yours.
Thank you. I was joking as some of you came in. I kind of was hoping that they would show up instead of talking for all these people. But I'm so glad you're here. I was going to give props to the sophomores because when I met with them last week, I guess, during a free break period, they all sat up front with me. I was so impressed. Without any prompting, now they're all in the back. So I guess the parents are around and have to act cool or something. So, thank you all for coming. This is my first year at Augusta Prep, as you may know. And just to give you a little background on me, I started in college admissions 12 years ago at Presbyterian College. And went on after that to work at Darlington School and Christchurch Episcopal School, which is in Greenville, South Carolina, in college counseling, and then came to Prep this summer. And I'm in love with this community. I love the city of Augusta. It's just such a refreshing place to be. So I want you to know as we start tonight's program that your kids are in such great hands with incredible faculty who have kept this school going in the midst of a lot of leadership turnover, and I'm really excited to work under Mr. Hustis and his leadership, and next year under Mr. Gives as he comes in to lead the upper school. So with that, I just want to go ahead and get going, really talking tonight about making the most of high school and understanding that 9th and 10th grade actually do matter in the admissions process. I think at times this process can be very stressful. And oftentimes that comes with just not understanding what the process really looks like, what a transcript looks like, what a GPA really is, and what all of that means in the grand scheme of things. So I hope to educate you a little bit about that, and I hope that this evening you leave a little bit refreshed, hopefully not panicked or in any kind of anxious mode, but knowing that we intend to take great care of your children, and they are blessed to be in such an incredible academic institution like Augusta Prep. I've been at other schools, and I know that this is a great school. So I think you should feel very confident in that, and that is what the colleges will see. So high school is really about forming healthy habits. You know, you may not ever remember anything you learned in Algebra 2 or Pre-Cal or biology, but there are going to be things that you take with you as you form these habits and disciplines and studying that you're going to carry with you for the rest of your life. So please know that even though you feel like you're not going to remember anything from algebra class, you're actually learning a lot while you're in high school. So tonight's program, I want to again preface by saying that no one should leave feeling panicked about all the information. GPAs and transcripts can be really hard to understand. I'm going to encourage you to look at it in a more simpler way so that you aren't so anxious about the process. And it's important, parents, for us to remember to let our kids be kids. A lot of this is wrapped up in the media attention that college admissions has gotten in the last several years. Sure, it's a much more competitive world, but they're still kids, and we need to let them be who they are and encourage them along the way. We can direct them to their strengths and encourage them. Ultimately, it's up to them to make that leap and to do what they know that they are capable of doing. And I see our role in college counseling and as a faculty at Augusta Prep as helping them keep the peace and the perspective in this process. Understanding the myriad options that are out there for them and understanding what goals that they can set for themselves so that they can achieve those things come senior year and even beyond that. So tonight we're going to talk about transcripts and GPA, and if we survive that, then we're going to get into the PSAT. We're going to talk a little bit about youth science, which the 10th graders know about, so freshmen will be educating you a little bit about that new program. We're going to talk about the college counseling program here at Augusta Prep and all the different things that we're going to do. We really get involved in the junior year, one-on-one, and so you're going to see a little bit about what that looks like. And then I'm going to share a little bit of advice from parents and students who have been through this process to hopefully ease your minds just a bit. So there was a mock transcript out on the table. If you grab one of those, and maybe you didn't, please share with the person next to you. What I want to do tonight is just kind of spell out what's on a transcript. We realize that most of you may have never even seen one of these before. Some of you walked in and said, "What is this?" That is your transcript. So that's a mock transcript, and the purpose behind it, it's intended for college admissions so that they can understand really your academic blueprint in high school. We offer them GPAs both on the 100-point scale, which is what students are graded on here at Augusta Prep, as well as a 4.0 conversion based on the way we weight certain classes. We do this because some colleges will take our 4.0 GPA directly from our transcript rather than recalculating their GPA to be a 4.0, and I'll go into that in just a bit. So I'm going to explain to you how we calculate a GPA and how some colleges may recalculate your GPA, but I want you to leave here tonight not wrapped up in that number. Students, I want you to understand what colleges are really looking at when they're looking at your transcript. From your transcript, they're going to see the courses you've taken in high school, your semester grades. So yeah, that first semester, freshman year, it happened. Your final year grades in each class, your GPA. They're also going to see on the side here, you'll notice the grading scale for Augusta Prep. And they're going to see down here that the course grades listed in your final year average are your earned grades in the class. Those are not including the weight. So when a GPA is calculated, the weighting is not put on until we calculate the cumulative GPA, and I'll go into that in just a minute. All that being said, I want you to encourage you to concern yourself more with your earned grades in your classes. Kind of break it down and look at the smaller picture instead of that one big picture, as that is the college's indication of how you're performing each and every day. If you think you can do better than a C in a class, now is the time to show them that you can. Additionally, I want to point out, I didn't bring copies of this, but it's available on our school website. This is our school profile. And this is something that schools like us all produce, and we give this to, it goes with every single college application. And every time we meet with a college admissions rep, we give them a college profile or school profile. And what this does, it lists college acceptances over the last several years, and it gives an outline of our academic rigor with regard to what AP courses that we offer. It gives a distribution of SAT, ACT scores, and it also spells out more fully how we recalculate or how we calculate GPAs with the various weighting. So that's the school profile, and that's just one way that a college is going to get to know who we are and understand the rigor and the dynamics of our school. Okay? So ultimately, your GPA is calculated by your final year earned grade plus the weight. Here at Augusta Prep, we give 3 points of weight to college prep courses, we give 4 points to honors courses, and we give 5 points to AP courses. My understanding is that's the way it's been for quite some time. So it's the earned grade plus weight times the credit earned in that class. And for most classes, that's one credit. Okay? So that is your fun way of, thankfully we have a computer program who does all this for us. So you'll see up here, so your credits earned, which are in this column, the earned grade in the class, and then this is just a breakdown of all these courses from freshman year with the weightings and the cumulative or the GPA for the end of freshman year. Okay? As as I mentioned earlier, some colleges might recalculate your GPA. For instance, when I worked at PC, we took every transcript and converted students' grades to a 4.0 scale, where an A received 4 points, a B received 3 points, and so on. We do the same thing when we convert to a 4.0 scale. An A receives 4 points, a B 3, a C 2, and so on. At PC, we gave 1 point of weight to AP or IB courses and a half a point to honors courses. We also only counted students' core courses, so this chart shows you how your GPA may be different if a college recalculated it. So here you see at prep, we have that 3.56, which was the converted GPA based on the weighting, and at PC, that's how we did it. So it's going to be a little bit different. That's why I don't want students to be deceived by your GPA, because it may be higher because of the way we are weighting classes. We want to make sure that you're understanding what your earned grade, are you getting A's, B's, C's, and so on. That's going to give the real picture of who you are as a student. So the point in all of that is to say, again, not to focus on your GPA so much as to focus on your classes and do well in them. If you do that, your GPA will be fine, okay? The other thing that I really want to say about prep that I've just been so impressed with is how much the students here take ownership in their grades and their scores and the work in their courses. I think that comes from being at a school with such a healthy size of students to faculty. They're really engaged with their teachers, and when you know that, I mean, parents, you know this, when you have a professor or a teacher that you love, you're going to perform your best for them. You want to do well for them. And so I think that's one of those things that you're not necessarily going to find at a place anywhere else. I mean, Augusta Prep is a really special place. So I know that you probably heard some exciting news in the college admissions world, and there is a new SAT out there. So with the new SAT rolling out next month, the first one will be offered in March. This year was the first for the new PSAT, which is the practice for the new redesigned SAT. With that also came a change in the scheduling for administering the exam. So some of you may have older students and know that October has always been a national testing date for the PSAT, and our juniors, in fact, took the PSAT in October. This year, we were given the option to administer that exam for sophomores in February. So this February 25th, it's a Thursday when we come back from winter break, the sophomores will take the PSAT. Boys in the back. Oh, see, they think I'm not watching. They will take the PSAT during school. And freshmen, the decision was made last year that we would not test the freshman class, that we would wait until sophomore year. And I'm not sure yet if we're going to test the rising sophomores and freshmen in October or stick with that February test schedule for sophomores in the future. Sophomores, however, you will be taking the October PSAT, and that will be the test that qualifies you for the National Merit Scholarship that you might hear about every fall. I gave you a handout. Hopefully you grabbed one. If not, please grab one on the way out. The handout lists just some helpful links that you might want to look at. And on the back, there's just some information about the new SAT and the different scoring and different sections that you're going to be tested on. The intention of the new redesigned SAT and PSAT is really to align with curriculum. So our students have done quite well on this new PSAT because they are learning so much in the classroom that it's serving them well on that test. The SAT in the past has been more of a game of trickery, right? The ACT was more aligned with curriculum. So now I think we're all very excited about the new potential with the new SAT. I encourage you to peruse the College Board website. It's never too early to do that. Learn more about the changes to the test and utilize their free practice resources from Khan Academy. This is just a screenshot of the College Board site and information about the new PSAT. At the bottom of this screen, it breaks down every single section. It's going to tell you what you're going to see. You're going to have practice questions in there. And then sophomores, you should have grabbed one of the student handout booklets for the new PSAT on your way in. So if you did not get that, please grab one on your way out. But that's going to be a great way to prepare. One of the things that it'll tell you, which is a new change, is that when your moms and dads and I took the SAT, we used to omit the questions we did not know, and we don't do that anymore. So now you get to guess, and there's no guessing penalty on the new PSAT and SAT. So that's just one of the easier facts to share about how things have changed. To preface the conversation about the actual SAT and ACT, we encourage students to begin testing in the spring semester of junior year. I strongly discourage students from taking the test as sophomores or even in the fall of junior year. It's a good example of one of the many ways that our students become over-anxious and burned out in this whole process of college admissions. The fact is they're going to have plenty of opportunities to take these exams in the spring of their junior year and the fall of their senior year. And curricularly, that is the way that these tests were designed. So I don't want you to feel like you have to start practicing now with the SAT in the spring of your sophomore year. That's the intention of the PSAT. It's more appropriate for you as a sophomore or a junior, and then you can move on to the real test in the spring of your junior year. And I promise you, as you get into your junior year, you're going to hear from me over and over and over, moms and dads. I send out monthly newsletters to remind you of all the things that y'all need to be thinking about as you go forward. Next is an exciting new venture that we're all kind of, the sophomores and parents know, we're kind of traveling this path together here. So Youth Science is a program that I was introduced to last spring at my annual conference for SACAC, which is the Southern Association for College Admission Counseling. And Youth Science is a program, the students actually take a series of assessments, and they're like brain games. Ms. Vaughn took it, I took it, Ms. Hudson has taken it, and we also had Caitlin Bell and Aubrey Bryant take it because they teach all sophomores and juniors. So the Youth Science program was introduced and offered to all 10th and 11th graders this year. Next year, 9th grade, we will take it as 10th graders. One of the exciting things is that these students will have access to these accounts for 10 years. So they can go back in and look at their inventories of what their aptitudes, what their interests may be, and what kind of career suggestions may be offered to them. They can go back and utilize that information years down the road when they're in college and maybe thinking a little bit more seriously about declaring a major and what kind of path they might want to take. So we're going to watch just a quick video. Sophomore parents who were here for the Youth Science program, I'm really sorry, but you have to watch it again. But as I told the juniors a while back, I had to watch it like 9 times in one day, so.
At any point in life, there are many roads we can take. Some of our biggest decisions are made without any understanding of our natural abilities and interests. You know, our true genius. We stumble through life with the hope that we'll get lucky or get good advice to give us direction. Here's the thing. The cost of not knowing ourselves and making poor decisions is big, really big. College costs are skyrocketing. It's taking forever to graduate, and it's rough to find a good job even when you do graduate. Employers can be choosy, and it's nearly impossible to stand out from the pack. And the world has changed. We're all going to have many jobs in our lifetime, and 2/3 aren't thrilled about the ones they have. Think about it. After all that expense, time, and frustration, to be stuck in a job that just doesn't fit? What if instead of stumbling around in the dark, you have an understanding of your real strengths and opportunities they create? You know, a future positioning system guiding you on where to go next and how to get there. In this economy, we could all use a little help. Okay, a lot of help. What you need is a game plan, and that's where Youth Science comes in. It helps you widen your lens through a series of scientifically based assessments, because we know that many of your innate talents are the key to unlocking your future. Through Youth Science, you'll take a series of short exercises that uncover information about the whole you. So what's the payoff? Powerful and actionable insight that can be applied to your academics, career, and personal life. You'll get detailed fit analysis for hundreds of careers and plenty of practical information, like what you'll get paid for your hard work, to help you make decisions that are right for you. We all need a little guidance along the path of life. and Youth Science is ready to help you every step of the way. Discover your genius, passion, and possibilities, and win at the game of life. So let's get started.
Okay, so I had a couple of sophomore parents ask me about the Youth Science results, and I had to release those manually. So any sophomores everybody has been released who has completed the assessment. So if they're telling you that they don't have their results yet, they may not have actually done it. You can call me and check on that. But all of the results have been released. So students, you should get an email that tells you that you can view your results, and then you can go in and just peruse that and see. I encourage you not only to look at the different careers, but see how your interests and your strengths actually, your aptitudes actually fit within a certain career. That's what can really spark a really helpful conversation. We're using that. I've begun meeting with my juniors one-on-one, and that's been a really great conversation tool for us to say, they say, I don't know what I want to do, and I'm not good at anything, and to pull that Youth Science profile and point out those strengths when they often compare themselves to everybody else or to someone on TV. Why don't we own who we are and have confidence in those strengths that we do have? Also want to point out that some of the careers I had a parent email me and say, you should take that career off, nobody should want to do that. And I said, well, that's not really I don't really have control over that, but the point is that you don't have to do anything that it says, but it's just an aid to help you along to see what your strengths and what careers are out there and help you kind of get a sense of what you might be good at that you've never thought of before. So, next I just want to outline the college counseling program here at Augusta Prep. Again, this is my first year here, so I intend for this to be more and more robust every year. And by the time y'all are juniors and seniors, I hope to know you very well. Sophomores, I can say I'll know you really quite well after our junior college tour at retreat week. I haven't set the schedule for that yet, but my hope is to possibly explore some schools in Georgia and Alabama. But I will be in touch with you sophomore parents about that late in the spring or early in the summer to let you know what our plans are for the college tour. So that's a really great way for students to get out there, see what a campus visit looks like. For me, it's exciting because I get to take students to schools that they may have never heard of or ever considered and just open their eyes and give them a little bit of perspective. This past fall, when we took the junior class, we were eating lunch in a college cafeteria. And it was a medium-sized school, and it was busy, but it wasn't super overwhelming. And I saw one of the girls, and I said, so what do you think? And she said, if college is this big, I can't do it. I'm so anxious right now. And that told me that she does not need to look at a school larger than maybe 2,000 people, because she was just completely overwhelmed. When you're overwhelmed and anxious, you kind of shut down. You're definitely not going to be the best you. And so that was one of the ways that it really helped me get a sense of the juniors and what the best fit might be for some of them. We have monthly college counseling seminars for juniors. So every month, what we've been doing is the juniors come to me in the library computer lab during their study hall period one day, and we work through a different piece of the process. So we've gone from this past one, we worked on building their resume. They actually started their resume on their Google Docs. There's a survey that they have to complete for me to help me get to know them a little better while I'm writing their recommendation letters. So they were working on that. We walked through the ACT and SAT registration. I teach them how to research colleges through Naviance, which is a program you may hear it referred to as Family Connection. And Family Connection is a resource tool for students to do college searches. You'll be opened up and registered for that in the junior year. There's really not too much you can do with it as a sophomore or freshman. So junior year will open you up to that. And they start to build their college list of all their interests. So that colleges I'm interested in list, which is what it's called on Family Connection, that list is going to be long. There might be 20 schools on there. And then by the fall of the senior year, we're really going to pare that down. And after we have the one-on-one meetings with them and their parent, or with just the juniors and me, and then team meetings with juniors and their parents, after winter break this year, we're really going to pare that list down and come up with a balanced list of maybe 6 schools that are likelies, possibles, and reaches. so that they have a lot of options in their senior year. And then we'll come back to school. Well, just before we come back to school, we have a boot camp for the application where we open the common application and really get started on a lot of the pieces of that puzzle that they can put together that exclude the essay and the short answer questions that are going to obviously take a lot more time. So we get that going so that they become familiar with that process. And then in the fall, I have an essay writing workshop with the seniors in their English classes. And that's a really great way for us to start brainstorming. They come to us and we help them brainstorm essay ideas. We're going to edit rough drafts. We're going to send it home and say start over. So we're really doing everything we can to make sure that they have as much help along the way with completing those applications. And then also, this is open to everyone, but there is always will be a financial aid program in the fall. This year it was in November, but it looks like we'll be moving that back to closer to the start of school. This is something new that you might hear about in the news, but the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, that is how you actually apply for need-based and maybe some merit aid. Typically, you cannot complete that form until the January of a student's senior year, in that time of the process. They're moving the process back to October of senior year. So you're going to be able to use, you'll hear it called prior year. You're going to be able to use prior year tax data to complete the FAFSA. And hopefully that's going to expedite the process and get information about awards and that sort of thing earlier in the senior year so that students can make that sort of decision earlier rather than later. So, what can you do now other than make all A's and just be all around perfect, right? Visit colleges when you can. Not all colleges are going to let 9th and 10th graders visit officially on an individual tour, and that's fine. If you're going on a family vacation or just driving through somewhere, call me and let me know, and I can give you some suggestions of places to visit, or if they won't let you visit, just do a drive-by. Sometimes just walking around the campus is a great way to get a sense of, like that student in the cafeteria, if it's going to be overwhelming and too big, or if it's too small, or if it might be a really great place to consider looking. So visit colleges when you can. Get involved in the community here in Augusta and beyond, whether it's as an athlete, a servant leader, if you're a thespian, or just a mentor to younger students. I had a junior the other day who loves chess. And he said, I want to do more. And I said, well, you love chess. Why don't you think about teaching little kids how to play chess? What a fun way for you to show some little kids something you love so much. And it's going to fill him up. And he went straight to Mr. Schaefer and came up to me in the hallway and said, I'm going to go teach chess in the lower school. And that's the kind of stuff that you need to be getting involved with students. Parents, you can help them identify those ways that they can get involved in different things. Just like your future career, you should pursue your interests because you love them, not just because it looks good to colleges. And I will say this here, that there are 2 comments that I don't indulge. The first is, what looks good? And I'm never getting into college. What looks good is to be authentically you in your applications. College admissions counselors know teenagers. I know teenagers better than they can even imagine. And you can see right through it when you're not being real. So we want to help you figure out really just who you are. And you're not going to get into every college that you apply to necessarily. But we want to help you build that list and find the options that are out there for you and help you build that balanced college list. So your job now, students, is to set your sights on the goals that you see for yourself in the future, in the fall of your senior year, and be the 100% you, and go after those things. You need to make course choices in the coming months, and I don't know exactly how prep rolls out course registration, but I will get back to you on that. But you need to make sure that you're making course choices that are appropriate for you. AP courses in your areas of interest. Sophomores, you're going to have a lot more options next year as juniors. But you need to think about taking AP classes that are in your areas of interest and strength. It's much more appropriate to do that than stressing yourself out with rigor in every single area when that may not be your strongest suit, okay? And that's where it's important to be an individual in that thing. Your best friend's path is not going to necessarily be your path. Parents, I need you to hear that too, okay? It's important to take the courses that are appropriate fits for you as a student. We're going to help you make those choices, and we encourage you to be confident in those things. I mentioned up here that there's a college fair at Augusta University in March. It's still in its infancy and planning stages, but I want to put it out there so that you can be on the lookout for more information from us. They just reached out and said that they want to plan this. So there's potentially a college fair at Augusta University. I think it's March 30th. Additionally, on your handout, you'll find a listing of national college fairs. NACAC is the National Association for College Admission Counseling, and it's really the governing body of the crazy world of college admissions. We vote on bylaws and rules and principles of good practice for the whole college admissions process. So there is a whole lot of thought that goes into everything that we do. But NACAC has a wealth of resources on their website. That website is also in your handout. And you'll also see a listing for college fairs that are in Atlanta, Greenville, and Charlotte this spring. National college fairs are huge. It's going to be probably as crazy as the CSRA college fair if you go to that in the fall. But this is going to pull colleges from all across the country. Schools that may never come to visit Augusta, Georgia. Okay? So if you can get to Atlanta, Greenville, or Charlotte for any of those fairs, I would strongly encourage you to do that. Again, the NACAC website is going to have a full comprehensive listing of all the college fairs this spring. There are also, for anyone who is really into the fine arts, they also have fine arts fairs that are specific to programs that are, BFA programs or art schools, if that is the path that you choose to take. One link that I failed to provide for you on that handout is one for usummer.com. Just the letter U, summer.com. I've mentioned in assembly for the last few weeks to students, if you're looking for something to do this summer, something meaningful, if you're not, camp counselor all summer long or have football practice, day in and day out, and you want to go either to a college for a pre-college program, National Geographic has great opportunities. There is a great website, usummer.com, and that gives you a really comprehensive listing of different summer programs. Like every college program you could imagine is listed there. So that could be a really great way for you to have a clearinghouse of different programs you might be interested in looking into. Also, I mentioned college reps. They come to visit Augusta Prep. The majority of them are going to come in the fall, but we will have some more in the spring of this year. So please ask your students if they've heard any announcements. In the fall, I put out the College Commode Communique, which has been a big hit with some students. That is a newsletter that goes in all the stalls and the bathrooms, and there's some fun facts about college admissions, but it's also really intended to be a newsletter to let them know when colleges are visiting and what time. And it's open to everybody. It's not just juniors and seniors. I want freshmen to be in there just listening. You don't have to ask any questions. Just listen. Just listen to the lingo. It's going to make you more confident in the whole process when you've been engaged with college admissions reps and you're building that relationship. You'll find that they're not really that scary after all. So I encourage you to visit with them when they come visit prep. And also, if you want to follow us on Twitter, we have a Twitter page. Do a lot of retweeting of important articles and reminders for different things. So it's just another great way if you tweet to follow us on Twitter for any updates there. So I'm kind of a quote junkie. My dad got me into that. You'll see a quote from him in the middle there. I had to give him a little shout out. See, it does stick, parents. I tell you, it really does. You might feel like you're talking to brick walls all the time, but they will listen. But I wanted to leave you with some advice that Lisa Burns, who's the dean, associate dean of admissions at Sewanee, she spoke at our junior college night right at the start of the semester. And gave this just some advice to the junior class. These were quotes from students and parents at the end of senior year, kind of what they would say to their child or their parent if they could, in hindsight. So from the students, a name brand college isn't what one should seek. One should look for the college that is most suitable for him or her. I'm going to be happy anywhere I go, so you need to relax. Calm down, Mom. I don't need to travel around the world in the 50 states to see 300 colleges. The more stressed you get, the less enjoyable the situation is for me. Relax. Don't expect to control every aspect of my college process. Please don't panic when you realize my GPA isn't a 4.1. I promise to make a solid effort and spend a lot of time getting into and selecting a college. I would love your involvement with the college process. Suggesting and encouraging schools is really helpful. Don't tell me I can go to school anywhere when we know that is not true. I only want to apply to the school I like. I prefer that college would not be an hourly topic. Leave me alone. For the parents, I would tell my daughter to take a breath and know that it's all going to work out just fine. She will go to college, she will do well, and she will be very well prepared for the future. I honestly believe she will be very happy with her choices, her final selection, and her college experience. No matter how immersed you or anyone around you, for that matter, become in this process, please remember it is your journey toward a destination you have identified. Be open to the counsel and suggestions of those working with and supporting you, but also stand up for yourself and the goals that you have set. Research thoughtfully, visualize candidly, and know unconditionally that wherever you go, that campus and its community will be so much better for your presence. Be honest with yourself about your college expectations. Find a college where you feel comfortable, but don't be afraid to stretch yourself. Most importantly, look forward to the college experience as the transition to young adulthood and the next step in the road of life. You have worked hard and wisely, and there is no doubt you'll be accepted to an excellent school. It doesn't matter which one, as long as you've worked well and as hard as you did in high school. I want to leave you on that note to hopefully ease your anxieties and nerves and let you know that it is going to be all right. We're going to be here for you every single step of the way, and if you ever have any questions about the process or may need any suggestions for anything, please don't ever hesitate to contact Marcia or me. If you have any specific questions about the GPA and that sort of thing, it is a difficult conversation to have with a large group, so I would really prefer that you direct those directly to me, and I'd be happy to explain anything in depth to you as individuals, but it gets kind of confusing with a large crowd. So please don't hesitate to reach out. I look forward to getting to know all of you, your sons and daughters, and I wish you well this evening, and thank you so much for coming out.